Hello, beautiful people. It's Sindafam. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be checking this video together. Let's check it out.
I'm sorry, Ernest Owens. I do beg your pardon. Ernest Owens, thank you very much indeed for joining me. And now, I don't know much about you, other than you wrote a piece last week for Rolling Stone magazine saying cancel culture is good for democracy. So I'm going to come to that ludicrous premise in a minute. But I also remember you tweeting when I left Good Morning Britain, a series of tweets calling me a racist, including enjoying how folks keep getting Piers Morgan together for his racist tirades against Meghan Markle on Good Morning Britain. I was just curious, could you remember a single racist thing that I said about her or have ever said about her?
Well, thank you for having me on, Piers. I was surprised when I found out I would be on your show.
We're an uncensored show, Ernest. We take all types on here.
Well, all types. Well, there you go. But I think really a lot of it just seemed to be biased. I think that you was really just harsh on the Duchess of Sussex. And I think there was a little bit of bias in the way that you had really gone after her.
Yeah, but Ernest, to be clear, I didn't ask you about that. I just said, what were the racist tirades? What racist thing have I ever said about Meghan Markle? I'm curious. You tweeted quite a few times that I was a racist. I'm just curious, what was the racism?
I said your remarks. I said your remarks was racist. I didn't say verbatim.
What were the remarks that were racist?
I think that it's biased. I think that you had a sense of bias of how you were speaking about her and how you was really being insensitive to her mental health and how you were denying a lot of her concerns.
Being biased or sceptical of some of her claims is not the same as being racist. What was the thing I said that was racist?
I never. Hold on. Do you want the person of color to speak, or do you want to just talk over me?
Nothing to do with your skin colour, Ernest. Sorry, nothing to do with your skin colour. I don't care if you're black or white or anything else.
It's just,
Yo, racism, victimhood, sells, and people use it loosely almost all the time. It has lost its true meaning, its true essence. That
black or white or anything else. I just want you to try and tell me, given you tweeted to your many followers repeatedly.
Are you going to let me talk?
By the way,
repeatedly,
you did this repeatedly. You have called me a racist repeatedly for racist things I've said about Meghan Markle.
I said you made racist remarks. I did not call you a racist.
To stand by what you tweeted. What was it I said about Meghan Markle?
I am. Would you let me talk?
Ever that's been racist?
Are you going to let me talk, or are you just going to overtalk me?
Just answer the question. Stop asking different questions.
That's microaggression. You're asking a black person to explain how what you did could be perceived as racist, and rather than let me finish talking, you're over-talking me and being highly defensive.
Am I being racist
so I feel
again,
like a hit dog is hollering right now.
Am I being racist again?
You're being dismissive. Can I actually talk? Or
maybe because you're not answering the question,
what's the point of you on the show? Okay, so can I answer the question?
Yes, you can. Please do.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So your targeting of Meghan Markle's mental health, gaslighting her specifically, calling to question the legitimacy of her claims about the royal family being racist, you dismissing those claims, you consistently having a sense of badgering her and targeting her, it's felt like on my end that there was some racial bias there. Now, you may feel like it's not. Maybe it's sexism. Maybe it's misogynoir. Maybe it's a combination of both her gender and her race. But it was perceived by thousands of people. 57,000 people had called Good Morning Britain about some of your behavior.
No, you see, you've got to be very careful, Ernest.
Mischaracterizing the situation on Fox.
Ernest,
you act like it's just Meghan Markle, but it wasn't just Meghan Markle. It was other people who had concerns.
You do have to be careful when you spew more lies, unfortunately, because 57,000 people...
Weren't you not spewing lies?
I'm about to explain what you just said was wrong, a lie. 57,000...
Or you're going to give your interpretation.
If you're going to let me answer the question, 57,000...
Go ahead, Piers.
Ernest, 57,000 people complained to Ofcom, the TV regulator, and guess what?
Correct.
5 months later, every one of the complaints was thrown out, and Ofcom found in my favour to have my right to free speech and freedom of expression. But I come back to my initial point about you. You repeatedly tweeted to many people that I'm a racist, and I'm simply asking you to name one single comment. Ernest, one single...
My question here is, why is it that when a white person and a black person is having a conversation or discussion or whatever, then one other person would make references to their skin color. Not every black people though, but I mean some group of people, because there is market for it, they make references to their skin color. Then if it's not skin color, if it's the opposite gender, if it's a woman, they will not make references to their gender. Why is that? Just why? Why? So you want to tell me now that if you're talking of making complaint, I mean, you're talking about someone's behavior, unconscious bias is seen as racist comments or misogynistic or sexist or whatever? Or if you're pointing or stating some things that you have doubt in your mind, that you have doubt is seen as hate. So people are not allowed to critique people anymore. We understand, yeah, there are some group of people that you cannot critique. But I mean, yes, that's why there is freedom of speech. And obviously people know they will come correct not to use freedom of speech or the right to freedom of speech loosely, because I mean, some words or some things you said, you can't take it back. But I mean, can people raise their concerns or thoughts? And why is it that it is always going to result to you who are raising your thoughts and your concern to be racist? Why is that? Or to have racist undertone? Can't people just have honest conversation? Just because the both of you don't agree on something doesn't mean you should look for something that would override, or you would use a conversation to override yours, in the sense that, okay, you want to play the victim card or the racism card because it's, or the gender card or sexist card. Victimhood in this society is not going to be the end of the society.
Comment
do you know
I've
the
ever
difference
made
between racist comments?
So, did I say a racist tirade? What was it?
I felt like your attacking of Meghan Markle was racially biased.
Oh, you felt like
and I
it?
believe
you felt like it was your feeling?
I felt that way.
It was your feeling that I'm a racist, was it?
I felt like what you did was racially insensitive. I never said verbatim on Twitter that you were a racist. I said you made racist
actually,
remarks.
You just said enjoying how folks keep getting Piers Morgan together for his racist tirades. We're actually looking at your tweet now, Ernest. And there were plenty more. In fact, while I'm talking to you, we'll dig the others out. Just go and dig them out, folks. Here's my point, Ernest. The reason that people think that I may have had a racist connotation to my criticism of Meghan Markle is because people like you, high-profile black people in America, kept saying that without any evidence. And now I've got you on my show, I'm finally able to ask you, why did you tell lies about me?
You're blaming the black guy?
I'm not blaming the black guy. I'm blaming you as a high-profile black man for claiming wrongly and defensively that I was racist in my motivation towards my criticism of Meghan Markle, which, to be clear, my criticism of her and Prince Harry is I think they both tell lies. They both recently said they didn't mean to call the royal family racist when we heard them say it with their own mouths on national television. So my point to you, Ernest, is you can say these things. You can say these things on Twitter, but when you're actually held to account for them,
about Meghan Markle,
you don't have any evidence to support what you're saying.
You have a bigger platform than me, and you've attacked Meghan Markle, and it's impacted her mental health. And I feel like someone like me, as a black person, defending her as an innocent black woman in that situation, I felt like I was standing up for her. You need to be accountable for your impact and your power.
Oh, I stand by everything I said.
You have a big influence, and you're trying to play a victim.
I stand by.
What you did to Meghan Markle, and it was disrespectful.
No, Ernest.
What? Did you hear it? When he just played the victim card here, it is saying Piers is playing the victim, or did we miss something? How many times Have we overheard the victim card here? I mean, if you play it, if you count it, it could buy a house, even mansion. What do you think? Sells, racism sells. In fact, they are selling racism, victimhood, mental health. Then the sexist one. Oh, I can't even keep up. I can't even count. Because what is this? What are we doing in this society? God help us.
I'm not a victim and I'm not a racist.
Are you a victim, Piers?
Ernest, I'm not a victim and I'm not a racist. I'm somebody who listened to that.
I never called you racist. I said you made
listened to the
racist
Oprah Winfrey. Just let me finish speaking. I listened to the Oprah Winfrey show. I watched it, and I identified immediately a number of lies. And I said that on air the next morning. Other guests disagreed with me, and you were delighted about the way they came after me, and that's fine. But then you said I was racist repeatedly. That my criticism was racially motivated.
You're being intellectually dishonest. You did not just say she was a liar. You questioned other aspects of her mental health.
No, I said I didn't believe them.
Aspects of it as offensive. Repeat what you said.
I said I didn't.
Repeat what you said.
I said I didn't believe her.
Why?
Because there is no evidence to support the claims that she made. She said she went to a senior member.
So her expressing
I'm about
what
to tell
happened
you,
to her, how
Ernest,
she felt, was no evidence?
Ernest, I'm about to tell you what I said. She said she went to a senior member of Buckingham Palace staff and said she was feeling suicidal, and that member of staff said she couldn't get help. That story doesn't reappear in Harry's 415-page book and has never been substantiated by anybody else, nor has it been repeated by Meghan Markle.
You didn't know that when you said that,
I'm afraid,
though, but you did not know that when you said that.
Sorry, I didn't believe it. It didn't sound true. And by the way,
but why?
I'm allowed...
But why you didn't believe it?
Ernest,
Ernest, you're allowed to. So you're allowed to believe that she's lying, and I can believe that what you said was racially biased.
I'm allowed to disbelieve
her. And I'm allowed to believe that what you said was racially biased.
And I'm also allowed to disbelieve you when you call me a racist, because it's wrong. And you shouldn't do it.
I said that you made racist remarks. I did not call you a racist, Piers. You're trying to make yourself a martyr in a situation that you started. You didn't have to go disrespectful below the belt with Meghan. You chose to do that. And now you're mad because other people disagree with you.
For what I thought was a disgusting attack on the British royal family.
You made ad hominem attacks against her character. You assassinated her character before the British press, and you know how the tabloids have been towards her. You understood what you were doing.
I've been just as scathing, if not more so, against Prince Harry, who I actually think is more to blame.
Didn't you? I want to know if this is true. Riddle me this. Wasn't there a point in time where at least you tried to pursue a relationship with her? You all had history before all of this happened?
No, absolute nonsense.
Okay, that was
another
nonsense.
lie. It's another lie. I met her once in my life.
Okay.
Okay, what do you mean, okay? We found more tweets while we were talking to you of you calling me a British media racist darling. What does that mean, Ernest? What does that mean?
It means that you have recently chosen, lately in your career, for whatever reason, you went the road of basically baiting into a lot of the biased coverage of Meghan Markle.
Absolutely.
And a lot of it has been
this is the
racist
problem,
attacks. A lot of it
Ernest.
has been targeted towards her in a biased way. And come on, can you admit that the coverage around Meghan Markle has been racially biased? Can you admit that?
Absolutely not.
Not talking about your work,
no, I think
but
it's
in general.
I think it's another load of absolute hogwash. Nonsense.
So you're dismissing the role of race in all of this. You don't think none of this has a role
I'm
in
saying
any of the
British
coverage she's been getting?
the British media has never been racist about Meghan Markle.
Okay, that's just a lie.
And
it's not a lie. We're going to agree to disagree.
It's not a lie. It's a fact.
Disagree.
It's a fact.
No, it's not.
What is a lie?
No, it's not.
What is a lie, Ernest, is you telling people repeatedly, I'm a racist, and then you can't produce any evidence other than it's your feeling.
I said you made a racist tirade. Yeah. And you're offended, but here's the thing: you're blaming me for the criticism.
I'm not offended.
You said you're blaming me as a high influential black person, a black American.
Lies, and by the way, it's nothing again.
You're blaming me for your criticism.
It has nothing to do with your skin color, Ernest. I don't care.
But you literally said you said I was a black influential person. You named my race. You said you're a black influential person, and that's why people thought that way.
I think when
so why did you bring my race into it?
I think when high-profile black people like you go public on Twitter.
Okay, high-profile black people like me.
Go public on Twitter and call me a racist.
You went public on Meghan Markle. Continue.
People believe it, and you know what? It's a.
And people believe what you said about Meghan Markle, or no?
It's a lie. Anyway, we've got to leave it there, and it's been lovely catching up with you.
Because, of course, everybody would believe when somebody paints or labels or says someone is racist because racism sells. So now, if a white person, because for the love of God, I hate using this word white person, black person. I hate it. But for the context of this, I'm just going to use it. If a white person disagrees with a black person, the person is having unconscious bias or racist comment or racist undertone. Like, why is it so? And for the love of God, is Meghan black? Is Meghan okay? Let's say she is black or biracial. Why are they selling victimhood? It is what I'm not even understanding. And why is it that if somebody talks about like something, raises their concerns about something that is not sitting right, and like, let's say the person is trying to know more or asking some certain questions to be like, okay, this happened, what happened, this happened, that you can you elaborate more on this? Do you think people are wrong? Because obviously lots of people were asking the question. She had thoughts. She had or went to mental crisis and whatnot in the palace, and people did ignored you. Who were they? What happened? Like that scene or whatever it was that played out, people really wanted to know. Why did they brush it off? Do you think people are wrong for being curious? Does that mean if people start asking questions about that, they are racist? They're trying to be the victim instead? Honestly, I am so tired of hearing people playing the victim card all the time, playing on people's faces, using racism and whatnot and all of that. We have to be honest. How do we move past? Because obviously there are people who receives paycheck to sell victimhood, sell racism, sell then sexism, the gender, the woman card. Oh my goodness. There are some people that sits down or who are getting paid to sell those. And if we're being honest, one or two person must have had one or two experiences discriminated upon, looked down upon for one thing or the other. It is what you do with it that matters. But there are some people that want to be lifelong victims. And I'm so tired. When do people move on? Why don't people want to move on? Why do people constantly think by doing okay? For some people, it pays the bill. Now I get it. I would agree on some part that sometimes Piers Morgan would invite people over on a show, especially people he doesn't agree with, or some people he disagree with. And when they come, he doesn't let them air their opinion. Sometimes he talks over them. I would agree on that because I mean we've seen that couple of times. And honestly, I am a big believer and a firm believer of people having an open discussion, regardless of your stance or what you believe in or your opinion. Because I mean, you cannot always sit or have a conversation with people you completely agree with. That's why we think differently. Because obviously, even if you don't agree with people all the time, but I mean, the fact that you can disagree to agree creates a balance, which is not a bad idea. But let me know what you think about this so far. I would really love your thoughts on this. You can share the useful information you think might be really helpful. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe and all of that stuff. And until next time, see you in the next video.